Okay, this is Business 342, the practice final set 3, problem number 5. Okay, basically it says using the following information to answer the next two questions. So this is just number 5 first. State of the economy, boom, normal recession, the probability for each one of those, and then the returns on A, B, and C, the stock. This is a portfolio, obviously stock A, stock B, and stock C. So 3 stocks. You have a portfolio that is equally weighted among stocks A, B, and C. What is the expected return on the portfolio? So if you go to page 70, it shows you pretty much a sample of the same type of problem. Page 70, 70 in your workbook. Same thing, this only had 2 stocks, and they told you that the weight was 60% and 40%. So the first thing you do is figure out the portfolio return. Whoops, hit that thing. Sorry about that. And so when you figure out the portfolio return, the way you do that is, in this case there was 60%, that was the weight, and 40%, so 60% times 25% return, 0.6 times 25%, it equals that 15, and then 40% times the 30% equals 12, so 0.4 times 30% equals 12, so together it's 27%. Again, the weight times the percent, the weight times the percent, you add them together, 14%, and so on. So that gives you the portfolio return under 3 different states. Because this is a portfolio, there's 2 stocks. So that's a portfolio return when it's a boom, portfolio return when it's normal, portfolio return when it's 27, 14, and 31, when it's recession, negative 31 in this case, it's the negative number. Okay, so to figure out the expected return of the portfolio, it's the expected return of the portfolio times the return for each individual option, the different states. So in this case, 27% times the probability, plus the next portfolio return for the second state times that's probability. So it's just basically a weighted average. So that's the same thing you're going to want to do on this. Let's back this up a little bit. The only thing I did was I wrote the formula. They don't really write it out this way, but it's basically the expected return for a portfolio, that should be a P, equals the return for option 1, say this is option 1, 2, and 3, times the probability for the return for option 1. So we got and you go through, so remember, you do that in each case. In this example, they gave you that it's 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, so they're equal weight. So all you really need to do the same thing is just add these together, divide it by 3. Okay, so that gives you the weighted average return, and then multiply times the probability. So I kind of truncated this a little bit, but it's the same thing. In this, if it had been 60%, that would have been 60% times 18%, plus, say, 20% times 14%, plus 0.2, 20% times 10. Add those together, and then multiply it times the probability. But in this case, you didn't really have to do that since they were all equal. All you had to do is add them up and divide it by 3. Same thing, multiply times the probability. That gives you the weighted average. Here's a formula that works the same thing. The return for this, which when we're talking about the portfolio return. This is the expected return right here. The portfolio return would be adding these weighted returns together and then multiplying it times the probability for each state. Okay, so look on page 70 on that example if you got any questions. So the answer for this is 10.02%, which is A. Okay, and all it just says the same thing I just told you. Since the stocks are equally weighted, you could just add them together, divide them by 3. That gives you the portfolio return, and I'll even write that right here. Portfolio return for each state now is right here, this part of it. The expected return is when you take this and multiply it times that. That gets you the expected return. You add them together, it's a weighted average. Okay, so that's Business 342, the practice final set 3, problem number 5.